Chinese culture is built on obligation and obedience. The individual serves family, society, and state. Law governs the masses, but rulers stand above the law. The people easily become pawns. 20th century China is filled with turmoil and war. In the early years, nationalists vie with communists for political control. By 1935, the nationalist government, now in full power, prohibits private ownership of arms. A person can be punished even if he violates the law unintentionally. But the new laws do not bring peace to the disarmed and obedient citizens of China. 1942 to 44. 4 million die in famines aggravated by government confiscation of crops. 1937 to 1949, the Sino-Japanese War. Men who refuse to be drafted into the army are tortured, mutilated, and killed. Many uncooperative soldiers are shot or starved to death. The toll, another 4 million. And in 1937, there is Nanking. 225,000 Japanese troops advance on the city. 300,000 Chinese soldiers flee, throwing down their weapons in the path of the oncoming Japanese war machine. Hundreds of thousands of children, women, sick, and old people are left to the mercy of a merciless foreign invader. Lacking any tradition of self-defense and forbidden to own firearms, the people of Nanking are cornered and helpless. They are raped, buried alive, burned alive, used for bayonet practice, and forced to watch as their own organs are cut out of them. Even a visiting Nazi observer is horrified. More misery is to come. When the communists take over in 1949, they impose their own laws to discourage and punish firearms ownership. The most harmless forms of gun ownership are forbidden. Yet the communists themselves are lawless under Chairman Mao's drive to produce an ideal society. From the agrarian reforms of the 1950s to the Cultural Revolution near the end of Mao's reign, men, women, and children are treated as tools of the government or as enemies of the state. During 38 long years, communist violence and economic experiments wipe out an additional 35 million Chinese, and possibly as many as 100 million. Chairman Mao said that guns were the ultimate source of all political power. He controlled all the guns. January 1933. Hitler is elected to power in Germany. Because of a gun registration law passed just 5 years earlier, he already knows which Germans own firearms. Nazi government agents combine primitive brutality with modern record-keeping to conduct mass seizures of weapons from political opponents. Violent raids and obedient gun turn-ins also reduce ordinary Germans to helplessness. Within months, the Nazis have firmly consolidated their power. But this is not enough. In 1938, they create their own gun control law. November 1938. Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. Incited by propaganda minister Goebbels and led by Nazi government agents, Germans commit a nationwide attack against the Jews, shattering storefronts, looting property, burning synagogues, committing murder. The day after Kristallnacht, the Nazis forbid Jews to possess any firearm, club, or sharp-edged weapon. Violators face 5 years in a concentration camp. Jews turn in their weapons to the police, or the Nazis storm in after them. Stripped of their power to resist, Germany's Jews await slaughter. Technology helps the Nazis make savagery efficient. Census data and national ID cards tell them exactly who is a Jew. In a few days of terror, between 30,000 and 90,000 Jewish men, mostly community leaders, are arrested and sent to concentration camps. It is the beginning of the final solution. The so-called Jewish problem now being solved, Hitler can focus on preparing for World War. All over Europe, men and women resist the Nazis, but not in Germany, where Hitler is able to find and seize their weapons. In Uganda, 300,000 undefended people die, yet few outsiders care. The world turns its eyes away. It is the hidden genocide. When Idi Amin comes to power in 1971, the world's political leaders embrace him. Amin overthrows dictator Milton Obote, who had banned political parties, killed opponents, and enacted a socialist agenda. Obote's government had also passed laws forbidding private citizens to possess firearms. Only government officials and other friends could get permission. Obote had been unpopular, and who could be worse? Surely not big, strapping Idi Amin, a clown who sometimes jumps into swimming pools in his full-dress general's uniform. But Amin is not merely worse. He is unspeakable. He immediately orders the slaughter of all soldiers whose loyalty he doubts. 16,000 men disappear in the next few months. Next, Amin claims that God has instructed him to throw every Asian out of the country. Then all the English people must go. Amin confiscates their businesses and land to give to his cronies. Uganda plunges into chaos. To prevent resistance, Amin makes it illegal for 3 or more people to be together if one of them is armed. Firearms are seized at Amin's whim. Amin's personal agents run amok. They torture and cruelly mutilate their targets, mostly Christians, rival tribespeople, and anyone Amin or his soldiers just happen to dislike. The dead include a university vice-chancellor, an Anglican bishop, a Supreme Court justice who dares rule against Amin's whims, and the Minister of the Interior, who is dismembered alive. Death squads sometimes make victims lie down in gutters to make their blood easier to wash away. Most Ugandans have no arms and no power to resist the killer regime. The orgy of slaughter continues for 8 years. In 1979, Amin is finally overthrown. Saudi Arabia welcomes him as a guest, and there he lives for decades in peace. The smiling monster never faces prosecution for the death of 300,000 innocents.